Welcome back, everybody. It's our final segment of the night. Now, 2 weeks ago, Attorney General Pam Bondi, in conjunction with the FDA, seized 600,000 of what they say were illegal vaping products from China, which she stated were unregulated in the amount of nicotine present, as well as the presence of heavy metals and untested chemicals. Now, there have been some questions about the raid since then, but it does highlight the need for American-made products, especially in the vaping market, a part of the economy that President Trump talked about on the campaign trail, and he promised to save that sector. So joining us now to discuss is the Executive Director for the Vapor Technology Association, Tony Abood. Tony, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, I really appreciate the opportunity.
Tony, I know that there are questions surrounding this raid, but at the same time, especially something like vaping that goes into your body, it's absorbed by your lungs, into your bloodstream. I would just say blanket buy American made, but especially not China.
Well, it's an interesting question, right? Because the product started being manufactured there, but this was the problem with the raid that we had. 90% of the products that they took from that facility that day were actually American-made e-liquids. Oh, no. This is the part that we really cannot figure out what is exactly going on with the FDA. And when President Trump, in just last September, said that I saved flavored vaping in 2019 and it greatly helped adults quit smoking, and I also raised the age to 21 to protect the kids, and now the youth vaping rate is the lowest level ever. And then he said Joe and Kamala are trying to shut down small businesses all over the country because they want to ban everything. That's why he said, I'm going to save vaping again. But this is completely incongruent, out of step, what happened last week, because it was the American e-liquid companies that suffered the worst brunt of what was going on.
Has the government responded to these concerns? Have they acknowledged about how do you get right with the government? They went in thinking they were getting all Chinese vapes and they didn't. What's the next step in that process?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to see the growth of the American industry here. There is no question about it. We have an industry. It is robust. There is no question about that. We generate over 90,000 jobs in this economy by manufacturing and or selling vaping products. And yeah, virtually every device made by every company, including some of the products or all the products that have been authorized by the FDA, are made in China. But we can grow this industry here. There is no question about it. We can grow manufacturing here. But the big impediment to that is the FDA regulation, which is a Biden regulation. So what we saw on display at that press conference and those actions that were taken was this FDA's enforcement of Biden's ban. And I don't believe that the Trump administration or President Trump himself believes in banning products, particularly products which he knows helps adults quit smoking cigarettes. At the end of the day, we have a real big problem for American consumers. They are using these products and they are using them to stay off of cigarettes or to get off of cigarettes, which we know kills over 1,300 Americans every single day. So we can build more in this country. There's no question about that. But given the posture that the FDA is taking, given the fact that they are going after small businesses in America, and given the fact that they have a regulation which Biden set up to make sure none of these products get authorized, it is extremely difficult to even suggest investing in this country because we don't know if the FDA is going to approve anything. To date, just so you guys know, they've only authorized basically a hand, you can count them on both hands, of vapes that they claim are legal. And as a result of that, you have companies that are struggling to survive, American companies.
Yeah. Tony, we've just got about a minute and a half left. So if after the seizure, there should be documents associated with it that the DOJ at some point, if not soon, should be able to cough up to show you whatever they had that told them that there were heavy metals and odd levels of nicotine in these products. Have they indicated to you or anyone in the industry that those documents exist?
No, they haven't communicated with us about that. But I think these comments about heavy metals, there's a lot of tropes that have been out there about vape products in general. But this is one of the problems with the regulation itself. What we are demanding and asking for is a clear scientific set of guidelines as to how these products should be made. That way, we know that the products are manufactured in a safe way. Today, the FDA, which approves a product, they say we don't know if the product is safe. This is another reason why this regulation is completely broken. But no matter how you slice it, there are cigarettes sold on every corner in the United States. Nobody's doing anything about cigarette smoking, and those products have far greater levels of heavy metals, formaldehyde, carcinogens. You can go down the list. And yet, nobody is talking about the actual dangers that exist in cigarettes, but just some potential dangers of what might be found in vapes. The reality is vapes have been on the market for over 10 years, and we have never had a public health outbreak in relation to them. And so we think some of these claims are frankly overinflated.
It's unfortunate, but it is an ongoing debate, and we look forward to having you on again in the future to continue this conversation. Executive Director for the Vapor Technology Association, Tony Abood, thanks for being with us tonight. All right, everybody, we are all out of time tonight, but we're going to be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night.